We are losing a whole generation thanks to Afghan men. According to UNICEF, as of September 2023, 3.7 million children are out of school in Afghanistan, and majority of them are girls. Over 30% of girls have never even entered primary education. 83% of girls are out of school completely. Only 9% of girls attend lower secondary school or higher. Only 12% of girls attend upper secondary school or higher. We have to fight for the women and girls in Afghanistan. Free Afghan women and girls.
Not allowed. Two-wheeler, not allowed. Lalgari, college जाना not allowed. रात को बाहर निकलना not allowed. प्यार करना not allowed. लव पास लड़की से प्यार करना तो बिल्कुल not allowed. और जब उसने छोड़ दिया तो खुश रहना not allowed. और क्या क्या not allowed है?
Bu bizim namuslarımızın vəziyyətdə verişəcəsi. Afganistan'da möhtərəm məmnunam. Bax
This barely even scratches the surface of what women in Afghanistan and other Middle Eastern countries are experiencing. But it's getting nowhere as much attention as other crises happening around the world. Why? Because it's happening to just women and girls. Imagine if it were only men and boys getting treated this way. Everyone would drop everything to help them, and it would be getting even more attention than Palestine. But the world is too used to seeing women suffer, so the majority of people don't care.
This is what life is like as a young woman in Afghanistan. You can't go to secondary school or university. You can't work. You can't even see your friends, go to the gym, beauty salon, or doctor on your own, and that's just a few of over 80 restrictions the Taliban have put in place since taking power. In effect, girlhood is illegal. This is gender apartheid, where groups in power systemically oppress one gender group. But the Taliban can't be held accountable for their crimes because gender apartheid has not been codified into international law. If gender apartheid is codified, women and girls, like those bravely fighting back against the Taliban, can legally hold perpetrators accountable and get the justice they deserve. You can help mobilize around this movement by amplifying the stories of Afghan girls and sharing this video to help spread awareness.
Taliban officials are stopping girls from leaving Afghanistan for education. At least 60 girls were turned away from the airport after being told that girls cannot leave the country with student visas. In Afghanistan, the suppression of women's rights worsens almost every day. Here are some examples of moments that they've had their rights stripped away under the Taliban's leadership. In September 2021, Afghan girls were banned from attending secondary school. And that same week, many women lost their jobs after it was announced that only those performing jobs that could not be done by men could continue working. There were marches across the country in response to these restrictions as women demanded their right to work and study. However, many of these protests were stopped by the Taliban government forcefully. In December that year, women were told that they must be accompanied by a close male relative when travelling distances longer than 45 miles. May 2022, the government announced a decree which mandated head-to-toe clothing for women. Near the end of last year, women were banned from parks in Kabul for not following Islamic laws. And then in December, the Higher Education Minister suspended all education for women in private and public universities. Last month on the 4th of July, the Taliban banned all hair and beauty salons, leaving around 60,000 women unemployed. These restrictions have made it near impossible for Afghan women to survive, but they are still fighting. There are underground schools for women, as well as employers hiring women workers under the radar. Women's rights activist Layla Basim has co-founded a library with thousands of books in different languages on different subjects for women. She said, "We want to show the Taliban that Afghan women won't stay silent, and our second goal is to expand the culture of reading books among women, particularly those girls who are deprived of education."
Despite situations like this still happening in several countries today, I still see ignorant women making memes like this. Women have always worked. Always. They just didn't get paid. Feminists fought for and are still fighting for women's right to work in any workplace without discrimination, equal pay, and for your ability to open a bank account. Women were stripped of education and the ability to make independent money, forcing them to be stuck in marriages with abusive men, or just not being able to live a life that they want. Situations like these should remind us women to never take what we have, and what the women before us fought for granted. The next video you are about to watch is a reaction to the former video. And this also applies to women who say things like feminists made our lives harder by making us work.
Oh, but that's okay, the Taliban will have you. Their laws make it so you won't have to work a single day in your life anymore. Wouldn't you like that? Why don't you make a joke about moving over there? Because it's not funny. You're not funny. Women already have it hard enough as it is. The joke is not original. Every other month, another girl comes online and tries to turn this topic into peak humor. It's not. Also, men don't see this as the joke you think it is. They will use that video to try and put another woman down when she starts talking about her rights to work and her rights to higher pay.
It is no woman's culture to be told what to wear or be killed if she doesn't cover her hair. So, is it legal in Iran to kill a woman for showing her hair? Yes or no? Is it illegal?
Finish.
Can your police, morality police, kill women legally for showing their hair?
Finish your question.
That's the question. It's a yes or no question.
Okay. After that, you want to continue?
Yes, I will continue. You don't run this meeting. We have a chair. Answer the question.
What?
Is it legal قانونیه در ایران که زنو بکشین برای که موشو نشون داده؟
No.
Okay, so will those murderers be put in prison?
You are.
Yes or no question. Will the people who killed Mahsa Amini come to trial?
That's why we have created a committee for investigating to find who has misconduct, who has resulted to this situation.
Eight years ago, world leaders gathered at the United Nations to announce a major new agenda. One of the most ambitious goals was to eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in the public and private spheres by the year 2030. It was big, important, overdue. So halfway to 2030, how's it going? At least 1 in every 3 women around the world experience physical or sexual violence during her lifetime. And the problem isn't getting better. It's getting worse. Gender-based violence is on the rise globally. In the United States, femicide is up 24%. In Mexico, it's tripled. Afghanistan eliminated the office in charge of monitoring violence against women, making these crimes untrackable.
We remember and honor these souls we've lost.
There are lots of reasons for the global rise in violence. War, climate change, COVID, and extremists determined to roll back our rights. But there are no excuses. All over the world, activists are on the front lines.
Everyone has the responsibility to act against gender-based violence.
Building a freer future. Next month, world leaders will come together again at the United Nations General Assembly. Isn't it time to ask them? To ask each other, what are we doing to make this world safer for women and girls?
Iranian girl was just attacked by the morality police and she is now in a coma in a military hospital. Let's talk about it. Armita Garavand is a 16-year-old girl in Iran who was going on board a train without wearing the compulsory hijab, so her hair was out. Moments after the 16-year-old went on aboard the subway train, people had to carry her lifeless, unconscious body off of the train and onto the subway station. The past week, this 16-year-old girl has been in a coma in a military hospital with intense security and guarding because of the Islamic Republic. No one knows exactly what happened in those couple of seconds that she entered the train and she got dragged out unconscious, but multiple witnesses say that it was the morality police who attacked her for her not wearing her hijab. The government is saying that she fainted because her blood sugar fell, but you don't end up in a 1-week coma in a military hospital because your blood sugar fell for a couple of minutes.
بالنسبة لي إني أخذ قراراتي زي ما هي، أتصرف بحريتي، ما أتقيد عشان المجتمع، عشان العادات، عشان التقاليد. هذا الشيء مهم بالنسبة لي، وخصوصا في بلدي يعني.
An Iranian woman named Roya Heshmati shared a distressing account of her experience during the execution of her sentence of 74 lashes. On October 26, 2024, the Taliban's Minister for Virtue and Vice, Khalid Hanafi, declared it forbidden for adult women to allow their voices to be heard by other adult women. Although the Taliban claims to base their extreme governance on Islam, this ban includes restrictions when performing or reciting religious verses, such as ayahs from the Quran, further restricting women's freedoms. This announcement comes 2 months after the Taliban announced laws banning women's faces and voices in public. These oppressive laws are part of the Taliban's deepening system of gender apartheid in Afghanistan.
چی کار میکنی؟ حرامی به من دست نزن. حرامی چی داری میگی؟ چی کار میکنی؟